broken entertainment. So the big news going around right now, of course, is that Elon Musk has officially reached a deal to buy Twitter. And I don't use Twitter. I left Twitter because it's a toxic cesspool where people just trash other people all the time, call each other horrible names. It's really horrible place. And a lot of people have left Twitter for the same reasons. And in fact, there was a report not too long ago that as many as half of the usernames on Twitter are fake. And Twitter's where you see all these harassment campaigns, all this cancel culture crap comes from. And I couldn't even, I was there for professional reasons. I was there to network with other writers, to network with agents and so on and so forth. This was before I decided to self-publish. I couldn't even do that. Everything was politics. Everywhere you turn, somebody was being political. The agents stopped talking about writing, and all it was politics. The publishing companies only talked about politics, and the other writers basically talked about politics. I'm like, well, screw it. That's not what I'm here for. So when I saw this, I'm like, oh, maybe things can improve. Let's get into the article, and then we'll kind of discuss where the future of Twitter might lie. So this is from the Hollywood Reporter. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO and social media firm unveiled the deal Monday, with the company accepting an offer that values it at about $44 billion. That's crazy. That Twitter is not worth $44 billion, but oh well. Once the deal is completed, the richest person in the world will own arguably the most influential social platform in the world. That's a big argument. You get a lot of this social media crap from companies where they're like, oh, well, Twitter said this and Twitter said that. And it's like, okay, but Twitter's like 0.5% of the population. Okay? It's a tiny fraction of the U.S. population, let alone the global population. And they act like it's, oh, we got to appease Twitter. If we get Twitter right, everything will be great. Doesn't usually work out that way, because most people aren't on Twitter, because most people, if you talk to them and you bring up Twitter, they're like, oh yeah, that place is a cesspool. Social media likes to prop up social media, and the mainstream media is a big proponent of Twitter being this super influential thing. And it's just not the case. There's no evidence for it being super influential. You get the cancel culture stuff out of it, but that's mostly the result of companies reacting in fear because they believe it's this big thing when it's not. Every time you've seen somebody be the target of this thing and they just ignore it, it just goes away. So the Twitter board conducted a thoughtful and comprehensive process to assess Elon's proposal with deliberate focus on value, certainty, and financing, said the company's independent board chair, Brett Taylor, in a statement announcing the deal. The proposed transaction will deliver a substantial cash premium, and we believe it is the best path forward for Twitter's stockholders. In other words, he made them a deal they couldn't refuse. Musk said at the conference he made the offer to buy Twitter because it would become kind of the de facto town square. Totally disagree. So it's really important that people have the reality and perception that they're able to speak freely within the bounds of the law. Now, think what you will of Elon Musk. I completely agree with him on this, because one of the problems with Twitter is it selects accounts to quietly shadow ban or to openly ban. And they usually, if they fight it, they get it overturned because they didn't actually do it for any reason other than not liking the politics being said. If you want an open and healthy society, especially in a democratic country, all voices must be able to be heard equally. And when you have these big corporations shutting it down selectively, you lose that. And if you don't have these open conversations, sooner or later, the censorship that is targeting the people you don't like will target you. That's how it has always worked historically. Sooner or later, it hits everybody. It's not the way to make money. My strong and intuitive sense is that having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important to the future of civilization. Don't care about the economics at all. Translation: Twitter is not going to make me my money back. And he's right, it won't. Twitter doesn't make money. Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is a digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated. He's putting way more emphasis on Twitter than I could ever agree with. It is a place people communicate about this stuff when they're allowed to by Twitter, but it's not the town square of the world. I'm sorry. Also want to make Twitter better than ever by enhancing the product with new features, making the algorithms open source. That would be great. To increase trust, defeating the spam bots, and authenticating all humans, meaning those 50% fake accounts get shut down. That would also be great, because a lot of people use those accounts as what they call sock puppet accounts to go out and harass people and make it look like there's this big crowd of people that think one way, and it's actually just one person and all of their friendly accounts. When the deal closes, he'll have to make his admittedly vague ambition a reality, square it with a difficult regulatory environment, not to mention human nature. Move caps off what has been a volatile and unpredictable few weeks for the company, with the odds of a purchase changing almost daily. And we can get into the history of it here, but I'm not interested in that. So what does it mean? It's going to depend on if he actually means what he's saying, and if he's actually going to implement changes that will bring back this open system where you don't have to be afraid of saying something that isn't popular with the company that owns Twitter or getting banned. If he does those things and it becomes a true free speech place, it has potential to grow back. It has potential to become what he's actually calling it. It has potential to matter. Now the question is, what happens with Twitter's biggest downfall? And Twitter's biggest downfall is the toxicity. A small number of people have been given a lot of power by a select number of corporations and celebrities, and a lot of that is where that toxicity has spawned. That in a culture within the Twitter user community of like piling on, when you see somebody getting attacked for something, people just pile on and pile on and pile on, oftentimes having no idea what they're talking about. Now, if that can be combated, if the toxicity can go away or be reduced, maybe the people who have left because of it consider coming back. The difficulty is, once you quit a social media platform, it's very easy to not go back. The allure, the hold that a social media platform has on you when you're using it vanishes once you're gone for a long enough period of time. I don't even think about Twitter, except when it comes up in the news like this. I don't care about Twitter. I used to post on it daily. I don't care. I don't read it. I don't react to it. I don't talk about it. I don't think about it. And I have zero desire to go back and post on it. There are other places I can promote my platform. There are other places I can talk to people that don't have the problems that Twitter has. Or at least not as badly. Instagram doesn't have nearly as much of the toxicity and the political nonsense that Twitter has. And, it's funny because when I first started trying to get traditionally published, I found out that everybody acted like you absolutely have to be on Twitter. This was coming from industry professionals. You have to be on Twitter. That's where everything happens. Well, Twitter doesn't help anybody get published. Doesn't help anybody land an agent. And all the agents are there talking about their politics and their personal beliefs and not talking about their professional job like they say they are. There's a lot of room. Just improving some features and shutting down some bots is not going to fix the core of the problem. I don't know that Elon Musk is going to fix it. I'm not even sure he can. I'm not even sure Twitter can be fixed, because how do you get rid of the behavior that is driving people away? That's the question. How do you get rid of that? That's your problem. And a large percentage of people that tried Twitter or were on Twitter for a while and left because of that reason have no desire to go back. And the spell's been broken. They've been off it long enough that they don't care about that platform. Maybe they've moved on Instagram. Maybe they moved on to TikTok. Maybe they've moved completely off social media. Who knows? But I'm very interested. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If this is a good thing, if this is a bad thing, if you think Twitter can be fixed, if you think Elon Musk is the person who can do it. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you next time.